I never thought a bunch of flowers could cut so deep. It was a Thursday evening, the kind of day where work drained me completely, but all I could think about was surprising my wife Hannah. We hadn't been connecting much lately. Dinners had turned quiet, kisses had become routine, and her laughter, the one that once filled our home, had almost vanished. I thought maybe I could spark something again. Something simple, heartfelt. On my way back from work, I stopped at the same little florist where I'd bought her flowers back when we were just dating. I remembered how her eyes used to light up, how she'd hold the bouquet like it was proof she was loved. I picked out lilies, her favorite, at least they used to be. When I walked through the front door, I felt a rare flicker of excitement. I held the flowers out like a peace offering, like a reminder of who we used to be. "For you," I said, smiling. She didn't smile back. She didn't even look at the flowers. She just stared at me, her face unreadable, and then the words came. Words so sharp they felt like knives. "It would be better if you disappeared." For a moment, I thought I misheard. My brain refused to process it. I stood there frozen, holding the lilies that suddenly felt heavy in my hands. "What?" I finally asked, my voice trembling. She rolled her eyes, like I was being dramatic. "I don't want your flowers, Daniel. I don't want this fake effort. Honestly, sometimes I think life would be better if you weren't even here." I can't explain the kind of silence that followed. It wasn't just her rejection of the flowers. It was her rejection of me, of everything we had built together. And in that silence, something inside me cracked. I placed the flowers on the counter, not even sure why. Maybe I hoped she'd change her mind. Maybe I just didn't want to throw them away like garbage. My hands were shaking. "You don't mean that," I said quietly, almost begging her to take it back. But Hannah didn't even flinch. She grabbed her phone, scrolled through it, and muttered, "Don't be so sensitive." Sensitive. That's what she called me after telling me I should disappear. I sat down on the couch, staring at my hands. I used to be the man she couldn't stop touching. She'd grab my hand in public, kiss me mid-sentence, send texts that made me feel like I was the only person in her universe. And now I was a burden, an irritation, something she wished away. The more I thought about it, the more the cracks in our marriage started to show in ways I'd ignored. The late nights she claimed were work dinners. The way she always kept her phone face down. The fact that intimacy had become a memory, not a reality. I used to think it was stress, or exhaustion, or just the natural ebb and flow of marriage. But no, this was different. This was contempt. "Hannah," I finally said, my voice firmer this time. "If that's how you really feel, then say it. Don't sugarcoat it, don't roll your eyes. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't want me here." She sighed loudly, like I was making her miss something important on her phone. Then she stood up, looked right at me, and said, "Fine. I don't want you here." I didn't yell. I didn't argue. Something in me went still. Because in that moment, I finally believed her. And once you believe someone when they say they don't want you, you can never unhear it. I stood up slowly, the weight of her words pressing down on my chest, but strangely, it felt like a release. For months, maybe years, I had been holding on to a ghost of the woman I once loved. Tonight, she buried that ghost herself. Without another word, I walked into the bedroom. I pulled out a suitcase, grabbed her clothes from the closet, and started folding them. Each shirt, each pair of jeans, every sweater I had bought her as a gift. One by one, they went into the bag. Hannah stormed in, her voice sharp. "What are you doing?" she demanded. "I'm giving you what you asked for," I said calmly. "You don't want me here, so you won't be." She laughed bitterly. "Oh please. You're being dramatic." "No," I replied, zipping up the suitcase. "For once I'm not. I'm just done." I carried her things to the porch, set them down, and opened the door wide. She followed me out, shouting something about how I was overreacting. But her words felt small now, meaningless compared to the finality of what I felt inside. For the first time in years, I wasn't afraid of being alone. I wasn't afraid of what people would say. I wasn't even afraid of losing her, because the truth was, I had already lost her long ago. She stood there on the steps, staring at me with disbelief, maybe expecting me to cave like I always did. But I didn't. I simply said, "Goodbye, Hannah." Then I closed the door. Inside the quiet house, I sat on the couch again. The flowers were still on the counter, untouched. For a moment, I thought about throwing them out. Instead, I picked them up and placed them in a vase. They weren't for her anymore. They were for me. A reminder that I still had love to give, just not to someone who wished me away. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.